So, you're in a slump. Maybe it's been a week, a day, or a season of your life. And you're here because you want to figure out how to quickly turn things around and get back on track. To be honest, I wasn't planning to make this particular video this week, but I've just had one of those weeks where I'm overwhelmed, stressed out. I'm just off track this week. I'm out of the regular rhythm of life. And that's fine, that's just part of the process of being alive. So I wanted to share with you this week what I do when I get off track and want to get back on track quickly. The first thing I do is start with an inventory. So I check 3 different things. First, I do a physical body systems check. So how am I feeling? Am I tired, hungry, dehydrated? Do I need to shower? What's going on there? Am I sore? Do I need to stretch? Basically, what kind of self-care do I need to do to make sure that my body feels good and normal? The second and third parts of this process are best done on some sort of note-taking system. So whatever it is, could even just be a piece of paper. The second thing is a mental and emotional systems check. So anything that's stressing you out, making you feel negative or positive, write it down and just get it all out of your brain, anything that's going on in there. The third thing would then be your to-do list. So any to-dos that are floating around in your brain, write them down, get them out of your brain and onto paper or onto your note-taking system. So then at the end of this process with these 3 things, you shouldn't have anything left in your brain. It's all in front of you for you to look at and examine outside of the clutter of your mind. So now that we've checked these systems, now it's time to actually take action. First, I start with the physical stuff, so taking care of my physical body. Now, I've been traditionally very good at neglecting this part, and it's kind of amazing how quickly your body will rebel if you don't do that. It will make you make time to take care of it. So just take the time and take care of it. You'll be amazed how much better you can perform and how much better you feel once you do that. Once you take care of yourself, suddenly your outlook can change. At least mine does. I feel so much better and I can perform at a higher level. For me, there are at least 4 non-negotiables here that I will go through and make sure I do if I'm feeling off track. Number 1 is hydrate. So for me, I'm chugging a water bottle full of water and I just kind of keep drinking as much water as I can until I'm having to use the bathroom maybe every 20 minutes, and then I know I am plenty hydrated and I start tapering off. Number 2, go outside, ideally for at least 30 minutes. For me, that means no phone, no headphones, just me and my thoughts. This is also a great time to do the third part, which is movement. When I'm in a rut, movement can be the difference maker between being in a rut and getting out of a rut. I know personally I'm a relatively active person, so I just don't feel like myself if I'm not moving my body. So I have a kind of minimum threshold of daily activity I need to meet just to feel okay. This is a relatively low number. The key is being very realistic with it, not doing something that's super overwhelming. Number 4 is get enough sleep. And I would argue this is actually the most important part. Now, some of you might not have control over how much sleep you get. Maybe you've got kids or some kind of sleep condition. And if you do, I'm really sorry. For me personally, I notice that when I get under 7 hours of sleep over a week, this will often correlate with me feeling tired and not performing my best. It usually also correlates with me being in some sort of rut. So what I do to turn this around is give myself an extra sleep opportunity or 2 throughout the week, be that going to bed a few hours early one night, or maybe allowing myself to sleep in on a day or 2 to catch back up on sleep. Now we get to the mental and emotional part. Now, obviously this will vary a lot depending on what you're going through. What I want to share today is a few things that can be beneficial no matter what your situation is. Number 1 is limit discretionary screen time and completely eliminate scrolling for at least a few days. This might sound crazy, but every time I've done this and I've been in a rut, I felt so much better very quickly. I think the less time we spend distracting ourselves with screens and seeing other people's lives, the easier it is to focus on ourselves and get ourselves back on track. And hey, the apps will still be there when you come back to them in a few days. Now for you, this might not just be your phone. It might be, binging TV shows or playing video games. You know what it is for you, and so just take a break from that for a few days, limit that screen time, and focus on yourself to be able to actually turn yourself around and get back on track quickly. Number 2 is fix your bad attitude. Now, I don't know about you, but whenever I'm in a bad spot, I'm pretty self-critical, and I know a lot of people are. And if this goes unchecked for a while, it starts leaking out to the other people in my life, and I don't want to do that, and you don't want to do that. So as soon as I become aware of these thought patterns, I need to replace them with something. So for me, that's just some kind of logical things of, for example, if my brain's telling me I'm a failure all the time, it's like, well, no, you're not a failure, Nick. You're just having an off week. That's totally normal and logical. Or, Nick, you shouldn't expect perfection from yourself because you don't expect perfection from everyone else. Whatever that is for you, if you're able to turn it around, great. If you're someone who really struggles with this, seeing a mental health pro could be a good step for you. Number 3 is commit to having a good day tomorrow. This might sound super silly, but bear with me. When I'm in a rut, I notice that my outlook, my attitudes are usually not super positive. So by committing to saying tomorrow is going to be a good day, I'm going to make it a good day, I'm going to have a good day, intentionally choosing to have that positive attitude, even if you're totally faking it, suddenly I'll notice that if I'm in a bad mood, but I'm intentionally choosing to have a good day tomorrow and act like I'm in a good mood, I'm just in a good mood after a while. Finally, we have our to-do list. Now, traditionally, I have been very good at skipping the first 2 steps in this process and jumping right into the to-do list because it feels pressing. If you're not taking care of your physical well-being and your mental and emotional well-being, you're not actually going to crawl out of that rut, you're just gonna stay stuck in it. So take the time to take care of yourself before you jump into the to-do list. Number 1 is prioritize. Oftentimes the to-do list will feel very overwhelming, especially when you're just trying to climb out of a rut. One tool that's been very helpful to me is the Eisenhower Matrix. Now, it was originally built for business, and so I have modified it here for personal use. So the Eisenhower Matrix uses a 2x2 square that assigns tasks to one of these 4 categories. The tasks you'll do first, the tasks you will schedule for later, the tasks you will delegate, and the tasks you will delete. Back in a 1954 speech, President Eisenhower quoted an unnamed university president saying, quote, "I have 2 kinds of problems, the urgent and the important. The urgent are not important and the important are never urgent." And years later, this was developed into the Eisenhower Matrix. What we're gonna do is assign each of our to-dos to one of these 4 quadrants. On the top left, we have urgent and important. In here should go tasks that have deadlines with serious consequences. These are tasks to do right now. On the top right, we have not urgent and important. In here, assign your tasks with unclear deadlines, but these are tasks that contribute to long-term success. You should schedule these tasks into your calendar. And if you haven't seen my video on how to make time for everything, even with a full calendar and a full-time job, you should check out that video after you're done with this one. Next, in the bottom left, we have urgent and not important. In a traditional Eisenhower Matrix, this would be where you'd put tasks that don't require your personal skill set. Now, as a manager, these would be tasks that you would delegate to someone working under you. But in a personal Eisenhower Matrix, this is where things get a little confusing because we most of the time can't delegate all of these tasks. So what do we do with them? Well, the first thing I will do if a task lands in this 3rd quadrant is I will question that task thoroughly. Are they actually category 3 tasks? Like, are they actually urgent? Will there be any consequences if I don't do them? Why? That type of thing. And if they are, well, okay, I have to do them. But if they aren't, I can move them over to category 4, which we'll talk about in a minute. Now, maybe we discover, hey, these are actually urgent, but they're definitely not important. So they're not moved up to category 1. Well, there's 2 things I will do then. First, I will see if I can automate the task to eliminate my time and energy investment into it. If I can, great. If I can't automate it, then I will just put in the bare minimum amount of time and effort into completing the task and moving on. Finally, in the bottom right corner, we have not important and not urgent. And And these are tasks we just delete. They are simply distractions. We don't do them. This took me a little bit of time to figure out, but once I did, this has been very, very helpful for me, particularly the first 2 quadrants in prioritizing what do I need to do next. So now actually take some time to apply this to your to-do list and see if this helps you prioritize the things you need to do. Next is one of my favorite task management principles, and I don't know where I heard this, but it's been very helpful for me. Choose a maximum of 3 major tasks and 3 minor tasks to do in a day, no more. Now, I will say most days I will usually get maybe 2 of my major tasks done and 1 or 2 of my minor tasks done, but it eliminates the stress of having to look at the whole to-do list and decide what am I going to do. Now, of course, there will be a random day every once in a while where you will have one of those quadrant 1 urgent and important things pop up that derails your list. But most days aren't like that. And so this is a really good way to be able to focus in and choose the things that you're going to do on your list without feeling shame when you don't do the entire to-do list in a day. So if we can implement these 3 principles of getting our body right and taken care of, getting our mental and emotional state into an okay place, and getting our to-do list organized and prioritized, this is the fastest way I can think of to turn things around and get out of a rut and get back on track.